Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Let me be clear on this.
Okay.
Costs will go up for the wealthy. They will go up for big corporations. And for middle-class families, they will go down. I will not sign a bill into law that does not lower costs for middle-class families.
But the answer was, are you going to raise taxes on the middle class? Let me be clear about a story of a person in Iowa. It's like, that's not the question. How tall is the tallest redwood? That is, again, not the question. Let me tell you a story. Not the question, Elizabeth. Are you going to raise taxes? Bernie's like, hell yes. We're raising taxes on everybody. Elizabeth's like, I endorse all of that, but let me tell you how I'm not going to answer that question. Because that's not a question I want answered. Because it's going to make me seem insane. So instead, I will talk in circles like you're a child. It was the same. Can we just now say it right now? Pete Buttigieg, if he was 50 years old, he'd walk away with this. He's the only one on stage that makes any sense. He's the only one on stage who has, I mean, just any, you sit there and you go, all right, he makes sense. You may not like his politics, maybe too left for you, but he's not insane. He's just not. I mean, he comes across as like, you know, again, like somebody who gets it. Everybody else, Tulsi did a pretty good job last night. But Elizabeth Warren, she had to face the fact that she is in the lead. And when you're in the lead, people are coming for you. When you're in the lead, their eyes and focus is on you. Ask any sports team that wins a championship. What happens next year? Everybody's going to give you their best shot. They may be 1 in 20. They're going to play their best game of the year when they face you. It's different when you're chasing somebody than when you're being chased.
I went on the floor and got you votes. I got votes for that bill. I convinced people to vote for it. So let's get those things straight, too.
Senator Warren, do you want to respond?
I am deeply grateful to President Obama, who fought so hard to make sure.
She said that. Swipe at Biden. But she faced the incoming last night. Did she do anything? No, you know exactly who these people are, right? Cory Booker is done. Beto's useless, right? Klobuchar's trying. She had her best night, but it's too little too late at this point in time. It's too little too late, right? Andrew Yang's always fun, and I think he'll actually stick around longer than people realize just because he has such a massive online base and following. Tom Steyer was everything we thought he was going to be. He's running for one reason, to save the world from climate change and to make sure that everybody knows that Trump needs to be impeached. Then you've got Tulsi, who, I'm going to say it right now, she's not a Democrat. She is a libertarian. She's a little bit left of what maybe the average libertarian is, but she's not a Democrat. She isn't. And I think this entire process for her has really woken her up, and she's thinking to herself, I don't know if this is my party. I don't know if it is. Right? Because last night, they asked her about impeachment. She's like, nah, you know what? Hillary, you lost that. You lost. There you go. Impeachment isn't going to help the country. She's not for third trimester abortion. Oh, my God. I mean, it's crazy. And Julian Castro, sweet mamma jamma, when they asked him last night in the bizarre question to end the evening, right? Like this question of, you know, last week, Ellen DeGeneres and George W. Bush were seen at a football game together. What do you tell us about a friendship that surprises you? And the first person they go to is Julian Castro, and he's like, I like tall people and short people and old people. That wasn't the question, right? Like, yeah, you know, Tom Steyer, I have a black friend that's a female that doesn't have water in Alabama. Really? That's it? I think they were, and the only other Republican really mentioned was John McCain, who's dead. Everybody kind of liked John. It was not good. If I'm the Republicans, I'm laughing And I'm hoping to myself, I hope they don't come to their senses and make sure that this Mayor Pete guy is on the ticket at the top, because he'd be a tough debate. He's smart. He gets it. He's a veteran. He appeals to a wide swath of people in the Midwest. But is he left enough? I don't think so. Not for them. Not for them. He's interesting, but I just don't think he's got it. And I also think the big thing that comes with him is he looks like he's 12. People don't want to vote for their grandkids. They don't want to vote for their kid. We like experience. If I was him, I'd be looking for, just for men, add a little touch of gray. Right? Because no matter how people shape it, and I've been in this business for a long time. Let me tell you something. When I first got in this business, I was handed an amazing opportunity. I was in Europe, and I was too young for the opportunity, for what they were looking for. We did a good job at making it more of a fun zoo talk show rather than any kind of politics, because I was in my early 20s. Man, that's insane. At 20-something, you don't know anything. You got to live a little, experience a little. He's 37. I think that goes against him. But I thought he was good last night.
I want you to picture what it's going to be like, what it's actually going to feel like in this country the first day the sun comes up after Donald Trump has been president.
It'll feel like it is today. Just exact same. Because I don't live my life based on politics. A lot of people do. A lot of people are obsessed with it. But there's a lot that's going to happen between now and Iowa. But 12, I will say this, 12 people on the stage is too much. It is. You're not learning anything. You know what I learned the most from people last night is if you flipped around afterwards, and most of you didn't, because you know what? I watched the show, so you don't have to. There was a great exchange with Van Jones and Elizabeth Warren, right? Right? Because she, the entire time, talking about this Medicare for all. And I'm going to break down why it is just not a good idea and why the American people, even people that are on the left, are very wary of it. But she still wouldn't answer the question. You learned more in this interview. It was like 11 minutes long than you did in the entire time that she was on stage.
You're better than I am on math and policy. So I'm not going to argue about that. I want to talk just about the politics of it. I know people. People don't like to be forced. It sounds to me when you say Medicare for all, maybe even who don't want it, that you're forcing people. So when Mayor Pete says Medicare for all who want it, I like that. To me, it seems like you got a public health care like the public subway. Right now, to ride the subway, you'd have to be either very poor Medicaid or very old Medicare. What Pete's saying is if you want to ride that subway, you can ride it. But if you want to be in a Lyft, an Uber, get a pogo stick, or a little whatever, you can do that too. You're saying you got to get in the subway. I don't care if you want to lift a helicopter, get in the subway. Why is that good politics? Don't you think America's going to feel like you're forcing something on them they don't want?
Yes. Yes. And then she goes, well, it's Medicare for all that can afford it. No, the whole thing for Medicare is if you have a choice. Look, you know what? I don't want to pay through my employer. I don't want the headache. I want to go here. I choose to go here. I choose. Democrats scream about choice all the time unless it comes to your health care. Right? No, not Medicare for all who can afford it. What you're saying is there's private people that will have better health care than the government-run option that people can opt into, and you don't want that competition. You don't. You don't want that competition. And you kept saying Medicare for all that can afford it. No. Medicare, if it's the Medicare for who wants it scenario that Pete Buttigieg has, which is, hey, you can go private, you can go public. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. When you start taking away choices from people, they feel trapped. They do. They feel trapped. And they don't want that. Nobody wants that. People want to know that they're going to have a choice in life. And when you start forcing people into something, it makes them uncomfortable. And then when you start saying all who can afford it, The whole thought process is you have a public choice where you can put everybody on who wants to be on it. They don't have to pay anything minus their taxes, which you're going to take a lot of, or they can have a public choice. Disingenuous. And she still wouldn't answer the damn question about taxes. Every time you ask her a question, she starts telling you a story about a kid in Iowa or somewhere like that. You're like, sweet, Jiminy Cricket. It's a yes or no question. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. By the way, it's National Bosses Day, so I hope you got your boss something. Did you guys get me anything? Huh, Phil?
No.
God. I swear. I was talking to Congressman David Schweikert last night. I said, hey, Congressman, he was showing people around the Capitol. And I said, did you watch any of this? He goes, no, but man, how about those Washington Nationals? there was more people going crazy there about that than anything else. I said, yeah, I get it. Nationals. Who are they going to play? Hopefully the Yankees. What a series that would be. We're going to get you tickets, Phil. Right? Because I want you to go and cheer your team on because we care. And it's also National Pronoun Day. So he, she, him, I, they, zed, they. I'm going to call you by your name. Whatever you want. If you want to be Batman, I'll call you Batman. All right? I'm not going to call you anything other than that. That's the pronoun you need? No. Now, how about this? I'm just going to call you whatever you need. I want to be called Steve. I'll call you Steve. If tomorrow you say you want to be called Linda and on 2 days from now you want to be called Mike, it's not happening. Pick one, pick the lane, stay in it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. My pillow is amazing. I have my Go Anywhere pillow. Slept like a rock last night. Stayed up late watching the Democratic debate. Did a bunch of work. Just passed out. Woke up bright and shiny. Thank you, My Pillow. Now, Mike Lindell, CEO and founder of My Pillow, has an amazing deal for you. Go to mypillow.com. There's a new radio listener special. Click on it right there and see all the massive, deep discounts he has on My Pillows, the bedding, which is incredible, the mattress topper, which I swear is just the most amazing thing. You name it, you're going to be saving big. Plus, they brought back the buy one, get one free. That is awesome. How do you do it? Simple. Go to mypillow.com. Click on the new radio listener special. Type in code Benson. Remember, 60-day money-back guarantee. Boom. 10-year warranty. Boom. You got nothing to lose. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
There's no requirement that we have a vote. And so at this time, we will not be having a vote. And I'm very pleased with the thoughtfulness of our caucus in terms of being supportive of the path that we are on.
Yesterday, Nancy in her weird press conference. So there's no vote at the time to have a formal inquiry. Right now, as I talked yesterday to Congressman Schweikert, he said, look, all that's going on now, because as I try to explain to people, and there are so many rules, and when you're essentially in charge, as the Democrats are, you kind of get to make up the rules as they go. There are certain things that must stay the same, but a lot of other things, because you have control of everything and the gavel, you can kind of make things up as you go, and that's the way it is. Both sides do it, and right now, without a formal vote, essentially the only people that get asked the questions as they go along are the Democrats. There's no there's no questioning, cross-examining, any of that stuff. And, they don't have the power of the subpoena, the Republicans. So it's kind of this, we're building up all of this evidence without, and almost in some ways having a pseudo kind of public trial without somebody firing back. I always say it's like the grand jury, right? One side kind of presents at the grand jury and decide to go from there. So she's not going to have a vote. But he said until there's an actual vote, and the vote wouldn't be for impeachment, it would be to start the actual inquiry. This is just oversight. That's all this is. This is just oversight. It is nothing more than that. So we'll see what happens. You try to tell people that. They're like, no, I don't think you guys get it. I'm like, no, that's kind of what it's about. Trump today speaking about Syria and all the stuff going on over there. Once again, I think this is a giant mess. I think this is going to come back and bite him in the butt, talking about the Kurds.
The Kurds know how to fight. And as I said, they're not angels. They're not angels. If you take a look, you have to go back and take a look. But they fought with us. We paid a lot of money for them to fight with us, and that's okay. They did well when they fought with us. They didn't do so well when they didn't fight with us.
Well, now they're going to fight for somebody else. They're free agents when asked about the strategy.
I view the situation on the Turkish border with Syria to be, for the United States, strategically brilliant. Our soldiers are out of there. Our soldiers are totally safe. They've got to work it out.
Yeah, they do need to work it out. That we get. But keeping 50 there that could have prevented all of this, now you've sent over Pence and Pompeo, who Erdogan's going to look at them and go, pfft. And they still have 50 of our nuclear warheads in Turkey. It's going to get ugly. And it's when I was talking to somebody yesterday, like, Chad, you just don't get it. It's brilliant. It's the most brilliant strategy. He has checkmated everybody. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, because you're so obsessed and you're part of the cult that you don't get it. And he goes, now those people are going to come home. I'm like, our soldiers aren't coming home. They're staying in Syria. They're just going to be at different places. Well, we're bringing all our soldiers home. I said, no, we're not. Because we're never leaving the Middle East. What part of that do people not understand? We're sending 1,500 soldiers to Saudi Arabia. We're never leaving there. We'll always keep a small group in places like Afghanistan and certain other places. It's for strategery. It is. It is. And if this turns ugly, I think this could be a much bigger deal to a lot of other people out there who vote quietly than I think people realize. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Check out the Instagram as well. Chad Benson Shoe.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Look, my son did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. My son's statement speaks for itself. George Washington worried on the first time he spoke after being elected president that what we had to worry about is foreign interference in our elections. We were able to get assault weapons off the streets and not be able to be sold for 10 years. When you register it, the likelihood of it being used diminishes exponentially. I'm the only one that got moved to make sure that we could not have a magazine that had more than 10 rounds in it. There will be no NATO. Our security will be vastly underrated. We will be in real trouble exponentially.
So we got two far ends of it. We have somebody who's like, I don't know if Grandpa should drive anymore. And then you got like, are you old enough to drive? Is you old enough? That's Joe Biden. Did not have the best night. He had a couple, look, I like the part where he turns to them and he goes, you guys are lying. You have a massive hole. You don't know how you're going to pay for this stuff. Nobody knows how you're going to pay for this stuff. You keep saying these things. It's not real. But outside of that, it was just a lot of gibberish. I was waiting for him to take a pill on stage. Hold on a second. I got to take my pill. It was not, it was awful. It was a dog and pony show of, it was just too many people, too much of the same. And I think Americans are looking for a moderate Democrat that's going to appeal to the flyover country. And it's not working. They don't trust Pete Buttigieg for whatever reason. Like I sometimes talk to people, and I was talking last night to one of the people I work with who is very, very liberal. Extreme liberal. And she jokes about how liberal she is. And she's just like, I don't believe anything they say. She goes, but Pete's too young for me. Right? I don't, but I like Elizabeth Warren. I'm like, why? It's all fake. She goes, I know. She goes, the only thing I don't like about her is she sounds like she's a librarian talking down to you. I'm like, well, that's not, how's that going to go with Putin? What are you about? I don't like this. Someone get rid of her. It's not going to work. It's not. There was some, last night was the usual people doing everything that they can to go further and further left. And when you had anybody who makes sense, people say, Chad, you sound like I do like Mayor Pete. I do like Mayor Pete. If somebody told me that you have to vote for one Democrat, it's Mayor Pete. Number 2 would be Tulsi. Although I like Yang because he's giving me $1,000. I'm not going to lie to you. Yang's giving me $1,000. Right? He's giving me $1,000. But, and here's the thing about Yang that is very interesting is he really calls them all on their BS. And he's like, okay, so let me tell you how the real world works when it comes to stuff like this. Especially when it comes to technology, because they're all kind of floundering in that world of technology. But right now I look up there and I think, okay, picture this. And this is what you have to do if you're a Democrat. Trump, 6 foot something, towering over Elizabeth Warren. Guys, let me tell you. It's a tough one right there because we're a very visual species and that sticks with people, right? That sticks with people. Bernie Sanders, Biden, Pete's kind of tiny. I just look and I'm thinking to myself, there is a certain visual side of things that do matter. Tell me right now, people say, well, I only care about the issues. Fine. Everybody says that. It's like everybody says, oh, she's got a great personality, and that's all I really care about. Or he's just, he's a good guy. He's going to treat you really great. And then you find out he's 300 pounds and he lives with his mom and he might be a good guy, but he's not your cup of tea. Right? There's something to that. I don't care what anybody says. So you have to ask yourself, can you picture any one of these people standing on stage and going toe to toe with Trump in an all-out battle? It's a tough one. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson. Ciao is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. So today is National Pronoun Day. We've posted something at the old Facebook. I will also throw it on the Twitter. So these are gender-neutral pronouns and usages. N-E. Murray, I've got Murray in here. She's one of our interns. N-E. Is that knee? Would you think that's knee? Nay? Nay. Nay. So subject, nay smiled. I called Nem. Doesn't this feel like, producer Phil, like they're making up a language, like this is Klingon?
Absolutely it does.
I called Nem. Here's a possessive adjectives. Ner eyes are brown. Possessive pronoun. That is ners. Reflex. Nay likes nemself.
I'm out.
I am too. Nay likes nemself. That sounds like, okay, when anybody says, it sounds like a fake made up language. Nay like nemself. Like if you say it just like that, you feel like you were like doing an old Western and you were trying to pretend to be a Native American or an indigenous. Nay likes nemself. What's a Spivak? Wasn't that the thing that attacked everybody in Land of the Lost? No, that was a Sleestack. Remember that? Remember the Sleestack? They were always screwed with Marshall, Will, and Holly. Spivak. You type it in, it comes up to, it's an Indian scholar. Is that what that's supposed to be? So you're identifying as an Indian scholar? Oh my God. This is what it is. This is the world we live. This right here is why we have crazy on stage. This is why crazy's on stage. Here's another one. XE. Now, XE is very interesting because, let's see, that's an foreign exchange currency company. And let's see here. Gender pronoun. What exactly does it mean? And how do you even pronounce it? I have no idea. Gender inclusive. Jeez, these people. I just want to know your name. Is your name Bob? I'm going to call you Bob. Right? Right? Your name Randy? I'm going to call you Randy. Right? If you want to be called Silly Putty, I'm going to call you that. What I'm not going to do is guess all day. What I'm not going to do is call you 8 different things because depending on the day and the hour of that day is what you're feeling like. I'm not going to say nay smiled or nay likes himself. V likes verself. Here's one for you. Z or Zi and her, H-I-R. You're just making words up. I don't even get that. So why can't you be her? What is that? Her. I don't even know. I mean, you just go look at this stuff, and it's gender neutral. And the funny thing is, you type these things in, and it gives you 40 other pronunciations of what that is. So female, according to the gender neutral pronouns document from MIT, because that's what they should be doing there. Her is here. Here's. Oh, geez. This is so. You can't survive like this. Why can't have nice things? Nay likes themself no more. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at me. I don't get it. And I'm pretty much an open kind of cat, man. I'm good with that. Like, you want to be you, go for it. Be you, do you. Sounds good to me. Love who you love. Worship who you worship or don't worship. All of those things are fine. I don't want to play a game. That's it. Can we all be honest about that? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. By the way, so just to let you know, Lori Loughlin is soon to be tried. Felicity Huffman is in jail. What kind of jail is it?
Since she was sentenced, there's been someone else who was sentenced, another parent, for almost the identical conduct to what she was sentenced for, who got no prison time. So anyone who's saying, oh my goodness, if anyone else had been Felicity Huffman, they would have gotten 6 months, the answer is no. If you'd not been Felicity Huffman, you might have gotten no prison time at all.
Yeah, maybe. And she's in a prison in Dublin, California. She's going to be there 2 weeks. And it's not like, she's not doing hard time. Like, she's not hanging out with murderers and stuff. She's probably washing cars and she's working, and it's probably like, it's like camp. You're at camp. I mean, there's with some bad people, but I don't think she's at any given, she's not coming out all tatted up, part of the Aryan Brotherhood is what I'm trying to tell you. Now, our good friend Dan Abrams there, you can listen. He's struggling with his voice because he's uber excited about this. I'm interested in the amount of time that Lori Loughlin, because I think Aunt Becky's going to jail for a while.
There's no question if Lori Loughlin's found guilty, she's going to serve more time. I mean, a lot more, because not just the fighting part, but her conduct is considered much more egregious than what Felicity Huffman engaged in. A lot more money, a lot more effort, a lot more fake pictures, etc. And all of that ends up mattering in the context of both the crime and the conviction.
Well, one, paid very little to work on scores, which is still not good. The other one had a full-on elaborate plan to dupe a college and to pay people off to get her kids who didn't want to go to college into college. She has managed to ostracize her children, and I think she does 6 months. I'd still rather have them do 500 hours of community service and take the amount of money that they spent getting their kids into college and put it into the public for good, where you can really direct it towards programs that are going to help disadvantaged kids when it comes to studying for the SATs and getting a certain education. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson. Ciao is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Zay. I can't even believe who does this. Zay smiled. I called Zem. It's like, if somebody said that to me, like, are you okay? Who's Zem? Is that somebody, like, is that Zem? Yeah, Zem. Here's one for you, Phil. Possessive adjective. How do you pronounce this? X-Y-R-S. Eyes are brown. Xerxes? Xerxes? Wasn't he the guy that tried to kill everybody in the 300? The Persian ruler? You want to be named after a Persian ruler? I'm fine with that. Zr. Again, why we can't have nice things. Raycon is something that is nice. You love sounds? I do too. You love listening to music wire-free? Absolutely, Chad. That's what Ray J's done with Raycons. The best around. The new E25s are incredible. They really are. Half the price of what you can find out there are the premium wireless earbuds. Stylish, comfortable, 6 hours of talk time, more bass, and the noise filtering is incredible. You make a phone call, you hear the other person, they hear you. That's what you want. And again, the sound quality is great. He gave them to all his celebrity friends that try these out. Cardi B's like, yeah, or whatever Cardi B would say it. But she's obsessed with them. She likes them. Get yours now. You're going to love them. You really are. And I'm going to save you money on top of that. Are you ready for this? 15% off. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show straight ahead.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege, please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Ah, kids, it is pronoun day. Z and here. How do you say H-I-R? I have no her. Isn't that, well, are we trying to avoid that? Right? So Z and her is the most popular form of gender-free pronoun in the online genderqueer community, derived from the earlier seer and here. And when I say that, I just want everybody to know I kind of tilt my head a little direction, like, you know, when you're mispronouncing something, you figure if I just tilt my head a little bit, maybe it'll sound right. It doesn't. I don't even know how you use it. I don't even know how. I don't know. But this is the world we live in, folks. I hope you're understanding that. Last night, the debate. So they asked everybody, hey, you got friends that would surprise us? Right? Like, hey, guys out there, do you have anybody like that would surprise you as a friendship? Because, you know, Ellen and George W. Bush are friends, and that's kind of weird, right? Because, you know, they're Americans and, you know, they don't totally believe 100% alike. Do you have friends that are weird, different, that would surprise us? Funny? Can't believe you guys had that friendship? Tom Steyer.
She's a different gender. She's a different race. She's from a different part of the country. But she reminds me of my parents in terms of her courage and her optimism and her honor.
So the black woman in Alabama reminds you of your mom and dad. That's not what they were asking. Julian Castro had the most bizarre one, and it was, I have friends that are older. Tall friends. Like, it wasn't even the question. What they were looking for, which they didn't do a very good job, New York Times and CNN, which was, hey, you know, if you become president, half the country probably didn't vote for you. So how do you do the best that you can? You're not going to get 20% of those people to like you, no matter what you do. But you may have a chance of getting some of those people to come on board and at least say, well, you're my president and I support you and I want you to be successful. How do you get those people behind you? How do you try to get those people to understand what you're doing and to not make them feel like you're essentially just, I'm only going to govern for this side of the country? But instead it was, hey, Ellen and George W. Bush are totally different. So who's your different friends? And that was, but most of them said that. The older generation all said John McCain because John was there for a long time. So they knew him, right? Tulsi Gabbard likes Trey Gowdy, which is cool. Elizabeth Warren talked about somebody who was in the Bush administration and helped her get a job, and they didn't believe in a lot of things, but a lot of it was John McCain because he'd been around a while. But outside of that, it was, I understand what they were trying to do. It was just poorly done. And remember this too. How much immigration talk did you hear last night? If you heard none, you'd be correct. It was very little of any of that stuff being talked about last night. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We're still going to be the Chad Benson Show. Z likes it that way. I'm just kidding. I didn't even know if I used that right. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I would also say one other thing. He was insulting, particularly to the speaker. She kept her cool completely, but he called her a third-rate politician. He said there are communists involved and you guys might like that. I mean, this was not a dialogue. It was sort of a diatribe, a nasty diatribe, not focused on the facts, particularly the fact of how to curtail ISIS, a terrorist organization that aims to hurt the United States in our homeland. Go ahead,
what we witnessed on the part of the president was a meltdown. Sad to say.
This whole thing is, this is what we've got. And it's funny listening to the Democrats argue about ISIS, right? Because they, both of them. Was there a meltdown? I would probably say there probably was a little bit of a meltdown. Did Trump probably say some stuff? Of course he did. He came after old Lindsey Graham today. Right? All pissed off at old Lindsey. Why? Because Lindsey had the audacity to say, look, this is the biggest mistake of your presidency. Trump did send a strongly worded letter. I'm laughing. To Erdogan. Says, Dear Mr. President, let's work out a good deal. You don't want to be responsible for slaughtering thousands of people. And I don't want to be responsible for destroying the Turkish economy. And I will. I've already given you a little sample with respect to Pastor Brunson. I have worked hard to resolve some of your problems. Don't let the world down. You can make a great deal. Right? General Muslim is willing to negotiate with you, and he's willing to make concessions that they would never have made in the past, and I'm confidently enclosing a copy of his letter to me just received. Gets good here, kids. This is when emojis should come in. History will look upon you favorably if you get this done the right and humane way. It will look upon you forever as the devil if good things don't happen. Don't be a tough guy, period. Don't be a fool, exclamation point. I will call you later. Sincerely, Donald Trump. Oh, my God. So you got all that stuff going on, right? So that's just fun. And then you got Trump, he's getting it today, and he's feeling it today because people on his side are coming out and they're criticizing him. People that have been his staunch supporters when it comes to just about everything.
What is unfolding in Syria is going to be a disaster. I hope I'm wrong. I will not be quiet. I will do everything I can to help the president get to a good spot.
Right? Trump basically said, shut up and focus on the judicial side of things, which you're going to probably need. So I don't know if I'd be that way. Trump called, of course, this is just great strategery. That's all this is. I don't think it's good. I got to be honest with you. I continue to say that. I support the president in some things, and other things I don't support the president on, and this was one of them.
I view the situation on the Turkish border with Syria to be, for the United States, strategically brilliant. Our soldiers are out of there. Our soldiers are totally safe. They've got to work it out.
So they're coming home? That's what people keep telling me. Chad, you just don't get it. He's brilliant. This is great. It's going exactly the way he planned it to go. Is it? Yeah, it's totally awesome. So we're pulling all of our soldiers out of there? I mean, every single soldier we have, we're pulling out of there? Well, I mean, no, they're going to like other parts of Syria and then to Saudi Arabia and other places. But, you know, you get it. No, I don't. I do not get it. And it's frustrating because I look at this and I say, what was the reason? You had a phone call, got off the phone call, didn't seem to talk to any of the people that you probably should have talked to. All of a sudden, we're pulling people out within 24 to 48 hours. They're moving on in. People I've talked to at the Pentagon has said, let me tell you something. They're not only are they not happy, but the worry is, are we going to have to go back in there in the future and potentially lose more lives on something we've already done, along with the Kurds who now probably aren't going to be on our side for a good long while, if ever again.
The most damaging thing any president can do to a soldier is to give back to the enemy the land they took through blood.
Yeah. And it's just to watch so much of the cult of Trump, to watch people turn on the Lindsey Grahams who have protected Trump and who have stood by Trump along the way and who fight side by side when it comes to the political battles that go on. It's nuts. It is crazy. And I think this is going to have a much bigger impact on Trump than people think. I do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. It was funny, though, because so apparently some of them stormed out, right? Some of them stormed out, but not all of them stormed out of the meeting today. So how much of that is theater? Because we all know politicians like themselves some theater.
It was very disappointing to see the Democratic leadership walk out of this meeting. I've never seen this before in my tenure in Washington. Yeah.
But that's Kevin McCarthy. He said some people stood around and they got some stuff done. Some people that are Democrats decided not to go anywhere. You know, the Steny Hoyer said, I've served 812 presidents and I've never seen anything like this. I'm like, yeah, me either. It's just, this is reality TV. People, we get what we deserve. We get what we deserve. And we wanted reality television. We wanted to change up what happens in Washington. And let's look, if your goal was to make people pissed off and uncomfortable, if your goal was to shake it up and potentially break it, goal is met, right? And the goal has been met. If that was your goal. If that's not your goal, I don't know what your goal is. But that's what a lot of people sent Trump there. I try to tell people this when it comes to Trump. He is a voice for so many people who feel like they don't have any kind of voice. Who feel like this woke, politically correct world is closing in on them. And this is the guy that's going to look at the elites in the face and say, pfft. Right? This is who this guy is. And that's why they love him. And I understand that. Absolutely. 110%. I understand that. And that's why they love him. I tell you, if you listen to my show, I never fall in love with a politic. Not a politician, not any kind of politics whatsoever. I look at everything individually, and I vote as I feel like, hey, I like that, I don't like that. I want my president to succeed, no matter who he or she is or whatever pronoun they want to go with. I want them to succeed. But nobody at all that's ever been president, that ever will be president, will be perfect. And sometimes they deserve some criticism. And it's fair to label that. And sometimes when people laugh, it's because of some of the craziness that, that he says. Which drives me crazy. Case in point today. He manages to make me shake my head and also laugh at the same time because of craziness. Let's dissect this, okay? So the Prime Minister of Italy is in town, right? So they're there today, hanging out, doing their thing, and he says this.
The United States and Italy are bound together by a shared cultural and political heritage dating back thousands of years.
We're 243 years old. Is thousands older, producer Phil, than 243?
Thousands, I believe the last time I checked, is older.
Okay. Well, how long, you might ask? What kind of culture and how we're bound?
To ancient Rome?
No. I said something earlier and somebody totally attacked me. I'm never going to listen to you again. I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, you're burying your head in the sand. But see, don't worry though, because this is where I go, and then at the end is where I'm like, that's funny.
Over the centuries, the Italian people have blessed our civilization with magnificent works of art, science, philosophy, architecture, and music. On Monday, we pay tribute to the Italian explorer who led a voyage of discovery.
Now, this is where it gets funny, right? So he's already called us like we've been pals since the turn of time, right? Since like the beginning, like since thousands of years ago. The U.S. and Italy have been like best friends for thousands of years. We're 243. I know, but no. So he says that, and he makes you shake your head. But then you remember back, we had Columbus Day on Monday, and then, of course, it's Indigenous People Day because we're all woke and stuff. And then he says this.
To the New World, a gentleman known as Christopher Columbus, and to me it will always be called Columbus Day. Some people don't like that. I do.
There. So in one fell swoop, he says something utterly ridiculous, and then he makes you laugh. That's why people love him. That's why people love him. I get it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I had somebody earlier send me something. You just don't understand ancient Rome and the United States. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, I don't want to. You're making an effort to the point of ridiculous, right? That's it. That's all we're asking. It's just sometimes he says stuff and you just shake your head and, you just go, okay, look, I get it. I'm not here to bash, but we can laugh a little bit, right? If you can't laugh at yourself, then who can you laugh at? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. AMAC, amazing organization. Look, you saw what was going on last night at stage. AMAC is fighting against crazy stuff like the decriminalization of border crossings, right? We're going to come and have you mandatorily basically give us back your guns and we'll give you a stipend, and the crazy Medicare for all. They're out there fighting for, you know what they want? They want to make sure AMAC is the fastest growing over 50 organization in the country. They want to make sure that Social Security is solvent, that they have common sense immigration reforms, that Medicare is there for you. And right now they're offering you a chance to join for 1 year free. It's a free membership. It's on me. On top of all of that stuff, they are giving you huge benefits. Retail, restaurant, hotel, travel discounts, movie discounts, half-price movie tickets. What? Have you been to a movie lately? It's expensive. And on top of that, huge savings at amusement parks and many other things. And again, the price is right. It's free. 1 year free. It's on me. Go to amac.us/Chad or call 888-355-1617, 888-355-1617 or amac.us/Chad. Join for free 1 year on me, Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
Last night was interesting. You know what's funny is, I like Pete Buttigieg. I keep saying, is he going to be Mayor Pete president? If he became president, would he be President Mayor Pete? Hey, it's President his name's not Mayor. His name is, because nobody could say his name. I think he's a good guy. I do. I don't find anything wrong with him. And I know it's just amazing to listen to people and the vitriol and the craziness. We were just talking yesterday. I mean, Governor Cuomo drops the N-bomb on a radio interview. Not even a word. Like, very few people even say anything. Even remember when Obama did it a few years ago? When I don't know, if he was on a morning show or he might have, I don't know. He was on maybe with Al Sharpton or something. And he said something. And it was about a shooting or something. And that got more press. But you have to know your audience. I mean, the whole Project Veritas thing, I listened to some of that stuff with Zucker and, Zucker hates him. Shocker. Zucker wants to focus highly on, impeachment. Shocker. And that none of that stuff was shot. You already believe that. The one thing that I found interesting, if you've not seen it, and again, I'm not a huge Project Veritas, fan. I tend to just stay away from a lot of that stuff. I understand that they do some good work, but along the way, I also know they're editing certain things. But they were talking to a couple of people that were CNN, floor directors and this, that, and the other. And they said, what's sad is we've got a lot of good journalists who don't want to be biased. But when you get your marching orders every morning from Zucker, who tells you got to do this, and this is all we're doing, and this is how we're going to do something, and this is what we're focusing on, and this is all we're about. Yeah, it sucks. But this is the audience you're appealing to. Like when people that I know who are conservatives get pissed at CNN and MSNBC, you know what I know? They never saw whatever was said because they're not watching it. Fox reported it. Breitbart reported it. They heard it on the radio from somewhere. They read it on a website. They didn't actually see it. And it's the same thing on the other side of the aisle. Because everybody's now, they found their niche audience that they're going to serve. And that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. They serve that audience alone. They're not interested in, opposing facts and conversation. They're not interested in information anymore because they've turned the actual coverage of politics and Trump into a reality TV show. And the further extreme he goes or you go, the better it is for everybody. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let's talk a little bit about last night's debate. Tulsi was up there. Touch on that. A little bit of Elizabeth Warren. Some more pronoun stuff, too. This is the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
When I look out at our country, I don't see deplorables. I see fellow Americans, people who I treat with respect, even when we disagree and when we disagree strongly. I will work to restore a White House that represents light and compassion and respect for every American, regardless of race, religion, orientation, gender, or political affiliation.
Tulsi Gabbard last night, she made some sense, as did Pete Buttigieg, and everybody else was kind of exactly what people thought that they were, right? Pete was a little bit more forceful last night, because I think Pete's thinking to himself, what do I have to do to win this nomination? I'm young, I'm smart, I served in the military, my ideas don't alienate everybody. I mean, let's be real. If you're Republican and Democrat, some of your ideas just based on that are going to, alienate people. He even, afterwards, he was like, I was watching, I think he was on Fox. He's like, these people come up here and they talk about decriminalizing the border, and essentially it is an open door policy. And he gets it. Tulsi and her, they get it. You know who I think just is awful? It's Kamala Harris last night. Did you guys watch that? Okay, so you want to get rid of Trump's Twitter. You want, you're going to prosecute the First Amendment? I mean, how exactly is that going to be? I saw afterwards both CNN and MSNBC kind of came hard at her, so you want to do that? Where does it end? Right? Where who's next? And she couldn't answer the question, because a lot of times they just don't have the answer. They have the soundbite, right? And then they don't have anything else. Baseball is one of these great things where if you ever watch the sport, same thing with football, is sometimes you get a taste of something, right? So they give you a taste of something. So if you watch a pitcher can mow down and go through the lineup in the first 3 innings. But then they see your tendencies, right? Then you've got to ask different questions. And sometimes pitchers, boom, they have a chance to do that. Other times they don't. Same thing with football. Bill Belichick is the greatest mind in football history. He's going to go in at halftime and he's going to change up on you. With them, they have a 30-second soundbite, and if you go past there, the answers usually die. They don't have anything. They don't have anything, right? Saw that with Elizabeth Warren last night. She did everything in her power not to answer the question, which was a yes or no question. Are you going to raise the taxes on the middle class? Well, let me tell you about a kid from Puerto Rico. You're like, what? That's not, no. Because you have to answer it with, yeah, that's what's going to have to happen. And we're going to have to a value-added tax. Bernie's promising everybody a job. Everybody a job? I read an article last night breaking down what Bernie's federal jobs, all of the things that he would propose. It would be about $9 trillion a year for all of those things. $9 trillion. That's a T, kids. There's a lot of money. It's insane. It is. It's nuts. And this is, I wonder. I continue to ask the question. If you are a supporter of the Democrats, do you believe this? When you hear these things, do you think, yeah, they're going to do that? Right? Or do you think to yourself, no, I know they're not going to do that. Why don't we have a politician that stands up there and says to the world, I'm not going to make your world better. I'm not going to make you taller, faster, happier. Not going to fix your marriage. Right? I'm not going to do any of those things. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do everything I can to do the things that government is supposed to do. I'm going to protect your freedoms. I'm going to uphold the Constitution. We're going to do all we can to help out when we're needed. And I'm going to do the best I can to keep the government out of your way so you can do you. And when other things happen where people overstep, corporations overstep, industries overstep, we will deal with that as it comes. But if you think I am the magic elixir in fixing everything that is wrong with your world, it's not true. I'm not a genie. I'm not Santa Claus. I'm not Yahweh. And I'm not Jim Jones. So don't drink my Kool-Aid. Your world should be your world. We'll do all we can to make sure that you have opportunities. And it's not always going to be safe. And it's not always going to be perfect. And it's not always going to be everything that everybody dreamed of, because utopia doesn't exist. And I would be like, I like that person. They're honest. Do people even want honesty anymore? I mean, do you? If you're a voter, do you even care about honesty? Like, are you looking and saying, I want somebody to be honest with me? Or are we at that point where, no, just tell me what I want to hear? And like, I think to a person on stage, when it comes to a lot of the craziness, like Bernie, I think, believes all of this stuff, but how many of them really buy into it? Like, yeah, this is really going to happen. They're backstage going, never going to happen. No, it's just never going to happen. Why can't we just have somebody who's straightforward and honest with us? You're not always going to like me. I may not always like you. Right? We're going to differ at times, but the whole thing is we're in this together. We're not going anywhere. So let's move forward as a country and, start focusing on the things that matter. You won't ever get that. Instead, you just get people who promise you everything you've ever dreamed of and wanted. Like Bernie's like, I'm going to make you taller. You're like, what? Right? And you come out and you attack people over and over again.
And then you have 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society. That is a moral and economic outrage. And the truth is, we cannot afford to continue this level of income and wealth inequality, and we cannot afford a billionaire class whose greed and corruption has been at war with the working families of this country for 45 years.
I love how it's greed and corruption. And by the way, can you give me all of your money so I can pay for everybody else's things? It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be. But when you have so many chefs inside of a kitchen, which is D.C., and everybody wants a little something for themselves in D.C., for their own little fiefdoms, and to take back to their people, you have to compromise. Most of us want the same things in life, right? Want to pay our bills, want to have a little money left over, right? Want to kind of follow our dreams and our hobbies, want to make sure our kids have opportunities. We want a safe country, want a clean country. We actually want a country. Most of us want the same thing. We're trying to take a path. Our path may differ, but in the end, we're kind of going to the same place. You just don't find anybody who makes any sense, right? You don't. And it amazes me. I look around, like, I understand Trump's appeal. I do. He's my president. I want him to succeed. Do I like the way he's handled business? Not always. Do I think he's missed on a few things? I think the Syria things he's missed on big time, and I think the Rudy Giuliani thing may come back and bite him in the ass in a major way. Do I think he is he sticks his foot in it? Absolutely. Do I think they've come for him since the day that they knew he was going to be the candidate and then the president-elect? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think the coverage has been fair? Not even close. I can be honest about it. We don't have any of that. We don't. And apparently people just want fairy tales. Tell me a fairy tale. You're going to get everything. In fact, Bernie's going to give you everything you've ever dreamed of. Everything. Free for everybody.
Under the Medicare for All bill that I wrote, premiums are gone. Co-payments are gone. Deductibles are gone. All out-of-pocket expenses are gone.
You know what else is gone? Your money and your freedom to choose. That's also. The taxes, you're going to be surprised at what you pay. All of the things he wants, you'll be surprised. There's a reason when he tried to do it in Vermont, it blew up and it never had a chance when they looked at it. Because it is not possible. Could we do a bit of both? I think we could. I think there's a way. I think we have too many regulations, too much BS that goes on in this country, too many administratives, too many people have to touch something along the way, which means they've got to get paid. No transparent. There's so many things. But when you're talking about taking away choice from people when it comes to their health care and locking them into something, while your health care, quote unquote, may be free, you're paying for it with your taxes. And those taxes, you don't have a choice on. So while your taxes rise, your bills stay the same or go up. You're taking home less. And while you don't have to pay for all of these things, what happens if times get a little tough? You can't just say, well, we'll insure the kids and we'll get off this for now. No, there's none of that. So, yeah, you're not paying anything, right, as far as health care out of your pocket because you already paid out of your pocket. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Apple National Bosses Day. I don't even thought that up. So you got Pronoun Day, you got National Bosses Day. It's also World Food Day. There's a lot of stuff going on today. Like, I had no idea the 16th of October was so busy. I had no idea. It's pretty awesome. We were talking about pronouns. We'll be touching on some of those later. By we, I mean Z. And by Z, I mean hey, I would like you to refer to me as How great would that be, Phil, if you just made up a noise? That's what I want to be referred to as.
There you go.
I am. You must refer to me as all the time. 323-538-2423 at show.com. You can text us 323-538. Chad, that's not very nice. You're making fun of people's pronouns. Hey, if you can make something up, I got to make something up. Wounded Paw, an amazing organization. Here's something where government's not coming in, forcing people to do stuff. What are they? An incredible organization. They rescue dogs that would be euthanized, train them to be service dogs, get them to our first responders, our veterans, and their family who are struggling in a time of need. Their motto is to save a paw is to save a life. It's incredible. Miracles don't come cheap. This is what they're looking for. You got a boat, a plane. If it flies or floats or drives, you got an extra one you're never going to use, one you're thinking about trading in, one you're just like, I'd like to do something with it. Great tax-deductible gift. They also take cash, but let me tell you something. What they do is incredible. It really is amazing. It's changing lives like you could not believe. Not just the veteran or the family or the first responders that get it, but also the dog as well. Now's your chance to donate. To learn more, call 844-678-4PAW, 844-678-4729, or visit woundedpawproject.org, woundedpawproject.org. It's a Benson Show.
I, you, he, she, it. Lucy is a girl.
Point of personal privilege. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Shut up, boo. Ain't nobody got time for this.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
Barry Castro, I want to bring in Shay Diamond, a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles. She currently supports Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Shay, what's your question?
It's Shea Diamond.
Shea Diamond.
Put that on the record.
Okay. It's on the record. Thank you.
Yes, honey. It's violence to misgender or to alter a name of a trans person. So let's always get that right first.
You spelled your name Shay. How am I supposed to know? Would you like somebody should have spelled it for you? Right? Like, get that? It's violence. Did you feel violence? Is that what that is? Chad, you still don't understand. No, look, if that's the truth, I'm screwed because I mispronounce everybody's name. And people mispronounce names sometimes. Not violence. Sometimes, you spell Shay. Could you imagine if somebody said, hey, your name's Chad, and I said, actually, my name's Had. The C is silent. Well, then why do you even have it? Because I'm making a statement. It's not very nice, Chad. You're being a jerk. It's not being a jerk. It's just crazy. My name's not even Chad today anyways because it's pronoun day. I was going over, so I asked a bunch of the ladies that work here. Some of them are extremely liberal, and they're young. And I was asking them about, the he, him, his, her, all of that stuff. And they were as confused as anybody over that stuff. And I asked the question, I think it's a fair question. Why can't I just call you by your name? And you can tell me what your name is, and that way I don't mispronounce it, right? So if you say your name's Steve, but your real name is Ver, is what you want to be called because you decided to leave out an E and the S, then, just tell me that. I'm like, is that wrong? Because I don't know if it's wrong. I mean, does everything have to be a certain way? And I think for some people, they do. They want to be, it's essentially, this is what it is. I need to be this right here. There's a special asterisk by my name as something is identified, and it's vitally important that that's there. It's like doctor. You ever say to somebody, hey, Steve, it's Dr. whatever. It's like, okay, but I've known you since you were 3, so you're just Steve, right? And I know all about you. But some people get that way. And I feel like in the hierarchy world of this thing, that the battle that is going on of political correctness and intersectionality, that people want to have checks by their name. I'm just saying. Speaking of power, who is the most powerful?
All we can do is our best.
With Avengers Endgame becoming the top-earning movie of all time worldwide this year, hits including The Lion King, the acquisition of 21st Century Fox, a massive upcoming streaming service, and a new best-selling memoir, no surprise that The Hollywood Reporter just named Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger #1 on its list of the 100 most powerful people in Hollywood. Disney is also the parent company of ABC News. Netflix heads Reed Hastings and Ted Sarandos come in second. The Obamas make the list for the first time at number 50 thanks to deals with Netflix and Spotify.
Are you in?
And Hustlers producer and star Jennifer Lopez, also a first-timer at number 92.
Wow. I am not on there yet again. Another one where isn't on there. How do you even do that? Why would you say that, Chad? You're being mean to people. No. But is it right to just ask what their name is? Like, whatever you want to be called. If you want to be called Bob, I'm going to call you Bob. If you want to be called Sydney, I'm going to call you Sydney. I think that's fair. That way we solve everything, right? We know what it is. Just don't change your name every day. That's no fun. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
He just couldn't handle it, so he kind of engaged in a meltdown.
A meltdown? Like Frosty the Snowman? Remember when he melted down? But Bing Crosby saved him. Do you guys remember that? Did you guys ever see that? It was sad. When you were a kid, you're like, oh, Frosty's dead. But like, nah, he's going to come back next winter. He's a snowbird. You're like, oh, well, that's cool. Chad, you've really gone off the reservation here. Can you say that anymore, Producer Phil? I feel like saying that is now racist. If it's not, we should make it racist.
I'm sure
going off the
someone will
reservation.
think it is.
Yeah, going off the reservation. Because that used to be something you could say. You can't say that now. So, Trump apparently melted down. Just pissed off, angry, didn't start well.
The meeting started by the president saying he never invited any of us there.
What are you guys doing here? Get off my lawn.
We're trying to get the answer. What is your clear plan that this resolution asked for how we fight ISIS? It was very sad. It was very sad.
So that was that. Trump, on the other hand, said, no, you know what? Nancy's a third-rate politician, and this is what happens. Everybody goes out, they say something, and it's just, this is what we deserve, right? This is what we deserve. We wanted entertainment. We wanted something different. We wanted reality TV. We got it. We got it. With the chaos comes chaos. That includes saying, hey, we're pulling out of this area. These people, the Kurds, it's no big deal, right? They're no big deal to us. And we're going to bounce, and everybody else can sort it all out. And, we'll go from there.
The Kurds know how to fight. And as I said, they're not angels. They're not angels. If you take a look, you have to go back and take a look. But they fought with us. We paid a lot of money for them to fight with us, and that's okay. They did well when they fought with us. They didn't do so well when they didn't fight with us.
Now they're going to fight with somebody else. And here's the worry. What happens with ISIS? That's a very real question. That is a very real question when it comes to this situation in Syria. And I do believe, and I'm with Lindsey Graham here, I think this is a big blunder for this presidency right now.
The president's decision here, I think, is the biggest mistake of his presidency, and I will not ever be quiet.
There you go, because Trump basically told him, shut up and, just be quiet. You go on the judicial committee, get yourself ready. By the way, Mitch McConnell, he had a closed-door meeting, and he said, I expect by Thanksgiving to have an impeachment, and this thing will be over by Christmas. He laid out behind a closed door. He expects there to be a formal inquiry, then the impeachment itself, then it will come to them, and then they will hear it, and then they will have the entire thing over by Christmas. 6-day work weeks starting in the afternoon. And Chief Justice Roberts, according to everybody behind closed doors, who's kind of came out and said, yeah, this is what he expects, will preside over the whole thing. But this right here, this whole Syria thing, let's take away from the drama that is the Adam Schiffs and the Trumps and the stuff that he says, and I don't like him for this, and let's take away all of that stuff. This is actual real policy, politics, geopolitical that has ramifications. Not CNN, MSNBC, Fox running around, hair on fire, screaming, saying stuff that's insane. This has real potential impact, not just to us, but to our allies in Europe, to an unstable area in the Middle East, which at some point in time, we may have to go back in and refight again, people that we had already defeated. This is not a good situation. No, we're not. I don't want to be nation building, but we're really good at getting into stuff, and we're really bad at getting out of it. And as I try to tell everybody, we're never leaving the Middle East. We're not. We're in these places forever. We've set up bases. We've set up shop. Now, how many people do we need to keep there? We can talk about that all day. Everybody keeps saying Trump's brilliant. He's got this thing down. These people are all coming home. I'm like, we're putting 1,500 people in Saudi Arabia, more than we already have there now. And these people have just been reassigned to a different part of Syria. That's it. They're not coming home. They didn't land this morning. And people that we did depend on, who did fight side by side, who did shed blood, now they're looking for help elsewhere, Russian, Syria, whoever. And if something goes down again, do you think they're going to want to help us again? Maybe. Probably not with this president because, and by the way, this isn't the first time. This is the second time we've had an issue where we've kind of said to the Kurds, nah.
The most damaging thing any president can do to a soldier is to give back to the enemy the land they took through blood.
So this isn't the usual drama, because there's lots of drama, right? I mean, television nowadays, you've got to fill a lot of time. So there's lots of stuff to talk about. And that's what they do. They rehash stuff, and then they make it bigger, and we got source here, we talked to so-and-so, and this is it, and here we go, and blah, blah. And now they create situations and entertainment with a smidge of news. But this is real. Trump sent a letter today to Erdogan. Don't worry though, we got Pence going over there. He's gonna lock this thing down. That guy could sell anything. I say facetiously. I don't really think he can. But he sent a letter essentially saying, "Hey, you don't want to do this. You're going to look like the devil. I've destroyed you once in your economy. I can do it again. So, what do you want to do, Erdogan? What do you want to do?" We'll see. I think Erdogan's going to go, that's what I think of that. And I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing because you're not going to do anything. You're going to put tariffs on. I already told you what I'm going to do. You're going to try all these things. Yeah, we'll see if you do that. Maybe Trump does. Maybe he doesn't. But 100 and some Republicans voted against him today in the actions for Syria. This isn't just, oh, here's one person. No, there are a lot of people on the right side of the aisle that are not happy about this. No, we shouldn't be the police keepers of the world. But the reality is this is the world that we live in today. ISIS is bad. It's an unstable region. And if it all goes to hell in a handbasket, the fear is I'd rather have them over there than try to get over here. And what are the ramifications if we have to go back in there because one of our allies gets attacked? It's, and I get it right now. People are texting me, "You're the worst. I'll never listen to you again." I know you're never going to listen to me again. And I'm fine with that. I hear it all the time. "I'm never going to listen to you again." How dare you? How dare you? How dare I what? Be honest? Have an opinion? This isn't, I'm not groupthink. I don't want groupthink. I want people to challenge me. I want to challenge you. Let's call BS when we see BS. Let's have fun. Let's entertain each other. Right? But if you want information, God, there's so many shows out there that aren't like me, that will give you affirmation. I want to give you information. I want to be honest. And if you can't criticize somebody you support because you think it's the wrong move, that's not good either. I don't want to live that way. Do you? What kind of relationship is that? No. He's not God. He's human. And I don't think this was a strategic move that was amazing. I think this was a knee-jerk reaction to something, and I think the potential of this thing getting uglier for him is very real. Doesn't mean that I hate him. Doesn't mean that I'm a never-Trumper. Just means that I didn't think this was the thing. And the way he's going after some Republicans, I talked to one today who said, you know what? It's a fickle world out here, so keep attacking us because we're the ones that may save your bacon. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Again, it's chaos and calamity, and I sit back and I'm thinking to myself, this is what people want, though. He gives voice to people out there who don't like the elitist Washington Beltway attitude, and that's what he does. And I understand that completely. But with all the chaos and with all of the stuff and the fighting from both sides of the aisle and from the media and everything, sometimes you sit back and you say, this whole thing feels like it's burning down. Maybe that's a good thing. 323-538-2423. That is the text line. So when I give you that number, 323-538-2423, and you call it and then you yell at me and say, why do you give out your phone number? That is a text line. So I want to let you guys know that. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right, what is trending? Let's take a look at the Google. Patrick Day, who was a boxer this past weekend, was knocked out, passed away today. Traumatic brain injury. Boxing is still a sport of danger. And people realize that. Tulsi Gabbard, who claims CNN cut her off to protect Elizabeth Warren, is trending. That's getting a lot of traction right now. Bella Hadid, did I say that right? She's been deemed the world's most beautiful woman. Is she the world's most beautiful woman? She's not the world's ugliest, I'll tell you that. Chad. How about Twitter? Twitter it's just crazy, right? Like Twitter is hashtag meltdown, ancient Rome. If you guys didn't hear, Trump says that our relationship with Italy goes back thousands of years to ancient Rome, knowing that I think we're 243 years old. So I don't know how that worked. Jonah Hill is trending because he is not going to be the Penguin in the new movie. Apparently he and Seth Rogen were going to be the Riddler and the Penguin. I don't know how that was going to work. It's Pronouns Day, kids. We've been talking about pronouns. I don't, it's interesting. And Mad Dog Mathis is trending right now because allegedly reported in the Washington Post that Trump belittled his former defense secretary, Jim Mad Dog Mattis, by characterizing him as the world's most overrated general. Yeah, the account from numerous officials came during an afternoon closed-door meeting with congressional leaders in the cabinet room on the White House grounds on Wednesday. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer reportedly brought up dissenting views towards the president's decision to withdraw the vast majority of 1,000 or so troops stationed in Syria. Remember, though, out there where they were in the northern part of Syria next to Turkey, there's not that many troops. But apparently they got into it on more than a few occasions. One of the reasons that Mad Dog Mattis decided he was done and Trump didn't want him around anymore is because he didn't think he was tough enough and thought he was overrated, apparently. I know he's a 4-star Marine Corps general. Here's the thing I think. It's you turn on somebody. So Lindsey Graham defends you all the time, right? The impeachment thing's going on, all of this stuff. He's out there 24/7. He defends you nonstop. He disagrees with you here, and basically you're like, you're done. Fox doesn't do something for you, and you're like, they're the worst, right? It's fair weather in so many ways. It's that, and that's it. So Mattis didn't like the way, and he's got, I mean, you are the commander in chief. So what you say, you want to pull everybody home, do it, right? I mean, that's just it. But then you have to live with the consequences if something goes to hell in a handbasket in areas that are crazy, and then if we have to go back in there again. Well, we would never go back in. Never say never. Right? They never said Trump would be elected, and so here we are. But it's the turning on people. And every 20 minutes now, it's something new is breaking. Some other story. It's exhausting. That's why the pronoun thing is funny. Zeitgeist. I'm just throwing words out there now. I'm like, zeitgeist? Yeah, why not? Zimmerman. What are some other Z words? Zebra? That's a good one, right? If you guys don't know what that is, just the pronoun thing is his and hers, but with the I instead of the E. Nice. Chaos and craziness. Welcome to America. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. And oh, by the way, we're just about a year away from another election. Soak that up for a second. We haven't even started with the crazy commercials yet. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
There's a sort of interesting theory of the case that revolves around Pete Buttigieg, and also I think to a certain extent Amy Klobuchar, which is the idea that there is some vacuum and demand for a kind of non-Biden alternative.
Yeah, because there is. Because the exhausted majority, which is the average person, they don't live their life in politics. They lean a little bit right, a little bit left. They don't want extremes. Extremes get us nowhere. They don't. Usually what happens is extremes end up crashing us. And then we have to swing to the other extreme. And then back and forth. No, we just want some normalcy. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Some common sense. We're not going to get everything we want. People can't get past that in this day and age. They want everything. You're not getting everything you want, right? It's compromise. That's what it is. It's trade-offs. Thomas Sowell said it. Life's about a bunch of trade-offs, right? What your must-haves, and I can live with, and I can live without. It's crazy. It is. But that's the world that we live in. Thank you very much, Chris Hayes. Still looks like a caterpillar from a Disney movie. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. LeBron James was talking still more about China. China! By the way, Daryl Morey, I don't know if you guys saw this, but he's the guy who started this NBA China rift. He's the general manager of the Houston Rockets. And he got 170,000 troll tweets after he tweeted that support for Hong Kong. 170,000 to his Twitter address. And of course, the NBA is like, we're sorry, China. So LeBron came out and did what he did, told us how we're going to, be destroyed spiritually and mentally and all that other stuff or whatever. But he still spoke again. And I want you guys, he pulled it in a, Trump in his great and infinite wisdom. Remember that? Well, LeBron pulled one.
I talked about it yesterday. I tweeted out a couple of responses to people not understanding, my knowledge of where it came from my brain and for me learning from the situation. I'm talking about it now, and I won't talk about it again because I'll be cheating my teammates by continuing to harp on something that won't benefit us, trying to win a championship because that's what we're here for.
In your what?
People not understanding, my knowledge of where it came from my brain.
Do you understand my knowledge in my brain? I like LeBron. He missed on this one. He missed. You swung and missed. Big time. I think you're going to look back in 15 or 20 years and you're going to go, I don't know. I probably missed on that one. I'd like to think so. Right? Maybe I'm wrong. Been wrong before? Be wrong again. I'm not perfect. No way. Yep. True. The knowledge in my brain. Swing and miss right there. Swing and miss. And it's funny because now he's like, I just want to focus on basketball. Well, when Laura Ingraham told you to shut up and dribble, everybody freaked out. Now you're like, I need to shut up and dribble. Okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. If you guys didn't hear, man the other night named Blair Davis was on the Wheel of Fortune. He decided to let the world know about his life and wife.
Hello, Blair. Hello. Blair Davis, Cardiff, California, owned the trucking business, it says here.
Small trucking business in San Diego. Yeah.
Good for you. And talk about your family.
I've been trapped in a loveless marriage for the last 12 years to an old battle axe named Kim. She cursed my life with 3 stepchildren named Star, RJ, and Ryan, and I have 1 rotten grandson.
Yay! No wonder you came here. You just wanted to get away from everybody. I know you're being facetious.
Absolutely. I love them like nobody's business.
Yeah, I hope so. What if it be like, no, I'm totally honest. It's the worst thing in the world. My goal is I want to win as much money as possible, and then I want to disappear, Pat. They don't even know I'm here, right? They think I'm with my cousin who is sick right now. My life is awful, Pat. So I got to win. I have to. I have to get away from this. They're just the worst people. And by the time this thing airs, I'll be long gone. Wouldn't that be great? He's like, are you kidding? No, are you serious? No, he's serious. He's serious. Speaking of serious, I don't know what's going on Sesame Street. By the sounds of all the things that have been happening for the last several years, I do believe it is probably a place that you don't want to let your kids wander.
How come Carly's mommy had to go away?
Carly's mommy has a disease called addiction. Addiction makes people feel like they need a grown-up drink called alcohol or another kind of drug to feel okay.
My mommy explained that she needed grown-up help. She told me it wasn't my fault, and I'm proud of her, and she's proud of me, and I'm so happy she's back and she's taking good care of herself.
Oh, look who's coming. It's Cracky. Hey, everybody, it's me, Cracky. Don't go to Sesame Street, right? Don't go to Sesame Street. Whatever you're doing. Like you come, what happened, man? I got robbed. Where were you, Sesame Street? Yeah, no doubt, man. It was crazy. Don't go to Sesame Street. Like, how woke do you have to be? So they've got all kinds of you know, like this person has a disease or this puppet does, and this one over here is like doesn't have a family, and like this one over here is like addicted to heroin, and this one over here, the puppet, the mommy's she's in rehab. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God, here comes the abortion Muppet. Like, what are you talking about? Don't go to Sesame Street. That's all I'm trying to tell you. When I was a kid, by the way, right? I liked Romper Room when I was really young. I was kind of into the Electric Company. I never got into Sesame Street or the Muppets. Wasn't my thing because I liked the Electric Company, right? But remember Romper Room? Oh, Romper Room was awesome. Romper Room was great. Romper Room sounds like a movie now because there was Romper Stomper. I don't know if you guys ever saw that movie. That was Russell Crowe's, I think, first movie. But Romper Room sounds like a horror movie. This Friday, Romper Room. You're like, oh. That was a good show, though. Romper Room was awesome because all it was, and we've got Murray in here, and you're younger, Murray. She's our intern, but she's in here. Romper Room was essentially, they filmed preschoolers just doing stuff. Like, here's a graham cracker, and they'd eat it. And like, whoa! You're like, oh, my God. It was the first, like, real reality show. That's what it was. That's the way I looked at Romper Room. 323-538-2423 at Benson Show is your Twitter. For those of you going, why are you calling yourself? Because today is Pronoun Day, and we're talking about some of our favorite pronouns. And there's a lot of them, guys. There's a lot of pronouns that I don't know. And some of them that essentially say the exact same thing are just spelt different, apparently to make people feel better. So the third person pronoun, I don't understand what the third person pronoun is, because the third person, like when I listen to Bernard the Executioner Hopkins, the great boxer, or Roy Jones Jr. was great. Like Roy Jones Jr. would talk about himself like Roy Jones likes to punch people. You're like, all right, cool. You are Roy. Why are you talking about yourself if you're not here? That was fun. Like we do third person Thursdays on the Benson Show, where we talk about, like, you know, ourselves as in third person, right? Remember that, Phil? Third person Thursdays.
One of my favorite days.
That's right. We do that. So I'm still trying to figure out what some of these things are, because they've essentially hijacked words and changed them to fit certain things. So they could now mean singular, like use singular, which is silly. Theirs is now singular. Them is now singular. I don't get that. I don't. Z could be somebody from China, could be a person here in America that's apparently a third person. So it's national. Here's binary and non-binary. Super non-binary. Binary. What is your favorite thing you always tell me, Phil? What is that? Your non-gender specific?
You're forcing your gender normative. I can't remember what it was, but it was something.
You're heteronormative. That's it. Heteronormative. So, they've got a lot of different stuff here. So so you've got to learn what the pronouns are, because some people get really, really upset about this. And I could not imagine angering somebody because I didn't understand that. Do you know what I mean? I mean, because today it's you can't even make a mistake, right? If you make a mistake, you get crushed for it. And I don't think that's cool. I don't. I think if you make a mistake and everybody wants to be woke, why can't you just go by your name? That's the other thing. I asked somebody the other day, because we have a lot of interns and some of them are very, they're very idealistic. And I was asking one of them, I said, because she identifies as a she. And she goes, because I said, do you ever ask any of them, why you just don't go by your name? So if your name's Chad, you just go by Chad, right? If your name's Steve, you go by Steve, Linda, whatever it is. They're all Cameron and Blake or Brody or whatever. Why don't you just go by that? And it's because it's not, they want to be recognized as something other than Blake or Steve or Jim or Nancy or Linda. It's they want to feel like there's a hierarchy. So by recognizing Xi, who also is the president of China, by recognizing Xi, that somehow gives them you're special, it's your superpower. I don't know. It's just, again, it's too damn confusing. What's not confusing is my good friends over at Lightstream. They are incredible. Right now, you get a credit card consolidation loan for as low as 5.95% APR. 19% is the average credit card loan. So you bought a dinner 16 months ago on an awful date, and you're still paying for it. You want to get rid of that. That's why you get a credit card consolidation loan. There are no fees, application fees, transaction fees, any of that stuff. And there's no prepayment penalties up to $100,000. In many cases, you can get the money as early as the same day. Here's the other great thing. So easy. Right on your smartphone. Right there. Right on your smartphone, you can do it. They've made it so easy. And just for listening to the Chad Benson Show, you get a special interest rate discount. It's simple and it's easy. Go to lightstream.com/Benson. That's lightstream.com/Benson. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Benson for more information. It is the Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
Coming in at number 1. Despacito by Luis Fonsi featuring Daddy Yankee is the most watched video of all time from Vivo. 6.46 billion views worldwide from the service, which gets most of its plays on YouTube. Vivo just announced its top 10 videos of the past 10 years it's been around. Number 2, Mark Ronson's Uptown Funk featuring Bruno Mars, which is also the number 1 video in the U.S. The top 10 contains artists you'd expect: Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Adele, but the number 2 video in the U.S.,
now watch me win.
One-hit wonder, Salento's Watch Me, with over 525 million views.
That's a lot of views. Think about that for a second. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and essentially the number 1 has about 1 per person view. That's a lot of views, right? You get to 1 million views, you're like, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. right? You get to like 2 million views, 5 million views, 10 million views, you're like, I'm doing all right. You get to 100 million, you're like, I'm on blast. You get to 1 billion views, you're thinking to yourself, I could make this a career. I could. Isn't that insane? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Not a great day for Trump. I got to be honest with you. I don't care how people spin it. I do not think the Syria thing is going to end the way that people think it's going to end. It is not good. I think we have turned on an ally. I think Trump has said a lot of things, and some of it just, quite frankly, I just don't buy it. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it, and it is... he went after Lindsey Graham, who's one of his staunch supporters, right? Can we just admit how Lindsey Graham is a staunch supporter? Today, Lindsey said,
The president's decision here, I think, is the biggest mistake of his presidency, and I will not ever be quiet.
There you go. Why did he say that? Because, Trump was not happy.
Lindsey Graham would like to stay in the Middle East for the next 1,000 years with thousands of soldiers and fighting other people's wars. I want to get out of the Middle East. I think Lindsey should focus right now on judiciary.
Yeah, you're going to need him. And by the way, just to let everybody know, because I always get, hammered for this, those soldiers aren't coming home. They're being deployed elsewhere. You guys get that, right? They're being deployed elsewhere. They're not coming home. Most of them are going to be in South Syria and in other parts. It's not like we're like, hey, we're bringing everybody home. We're sending more people to Saudi Arabia, for God's sakes. So we're never coming home as far as everybody's out of the Middle East. We will always have a presence there. We always will have a presence. Partly out of convenience, right? We want to make sure that anything goes down, that we're in and around there and we can handle it in a much different way. Plus, sometimes, maybe just maybe, keeping an eye on some people that don't like you closer to where they are is better. Plus, there may be a situation, I'm going to say it, where one attacks another that has nothing to do with us, but that other may be our ally. So there's a lot of things, strategery and everything else that goes into this. And I do not think this is a good thing. I've talked to several of my sources who are, deployed and or working in the military, mostly in strategery. And they've said, it is, this is not a good situation. And this may go down, as Lindsey Graham say, as the biggest mistake so far of his presidency.
To those American soldiers who have fought bravely to destroy ISIS, Caliphate, and have fought alongside the Kurds, I will lend my voice to your cause.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody today, and they said to me, here's the issue that a lot of people have. The fear factor is ISIS spreads again, and eventually we have to go in there with a bigger force, and we have to redo something we've already done. We would love to have everybody come home. We'd love for everybody to have peace. We'd love for all of those things. Here's the reality of it. You and I both know that's not going to happen, and you and I both know we're not bringing everybody home. You're smart enough to understand that. The beauty of, I always tell everybody, here's the thing about my show. I'm going to criticize if you need criticism, and I think something warrants that, and I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon of destroying you if I think it's silly. A lot of stuff that the media points at when it comes to Trump is a bunch of baloney. You know it and I know it. It's Trump derangement syndrome, and there's plenty of it out there. Some of it deserves warranty. And this warrants a situation where I think this was not the best move. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It is Pronoun Day today, and as you guys all know, my pronoun is because I decided why not just make a noise. It's just so much better, isn't it? 323-538-2423. At Show is the Twitter. You'll follow along there and at Instagram as well. Have a wonderful rest of your night. We'll do it again mañana, and as always, night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.